name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I don't think it's any real secret that the current era Doctor Who isn't doing very well. It's lost 2/3 of its viewership. Its audience appreciation score, the AI score, which measures the how much the audience appreciates it, have been lower, have been the lowest ever. Again, it's just really not very popular. Doctor Who magazine, the official Doctor Who magazine, is coming out tomorrow, and once again, there is no sign whatsoever of the current era anywhere on it other than the logo, which is, I think, just a branding edict. Yeah, we see Doctor Who merchandise in general. It's not doing very well. Doctor Who magazine, for example, for the first time ever, had to cancel its comic strip. That's after they had the writer do the artwork for a few months, and he was... Look, he's a solid writer. He's written on quite a few Doctor Who comic strips, which I like. I like so much I bought several times. Okay, so but artists, just not up for it. So we're seeing a real depreciation. The current Doctor Who comics in general, they're over. I think it's the first time in like 50 years there's no Doctor Who comics planned to come out. Yeah, it's not doing well. So I think we're going to do a deep dive onto what actually that is. One of the reasons that is, and one of the reasons I believe is hiring completely unqualified people, which is like I'm going to qualify through this video. Completely unqualified people to make Doctor Who. People who have no real understanding, affinity with it whatsoever, or background making entertainment that appeals, generally speaking, to the people who like Doctor Who. The result is very unpopular work. So we're going to do a deep dive in this. We're going to be comparing this to other industries that have done exactly the same thing, I think much more egregiously, with pretty much exactly the same result. So this is interesting times ahead. Before we get into it though, can you hit the like button? That would be freaking awesome. Thank you very much. Can you hit the share button? Even awesomer. Like, share, subscribe. If you subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, if you can consider hitting the subscribe button, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. I am really genuinely very grateful. If you do subscribe, if you want me to cover anything, just let me know. All my contact information is in the video notes, and just leave a comment. I reply to all the comments. Please do comment, by the way, because the algorithms, they love those comments. They eat them all up. And you want to be super nice. Okay, I've been promising to wrap up this campaign for about a month. I think it's actually here. I think I've got all the pieces in place. Now I can start booking myself on shows to do the final wrap up. So this really, I think we're in the last couple of weeks, right? Last couple of weeks. This is my Indiegogo to freaking awesome graphic novels. We got biblical Bible source, atheists, creators, rafters, and rogues. 220 pages, real stonking great story. I kind of like the early Vertigo books because they're the sort of books I kind of enjoy. I wrote and drew this. I wrote this one. I didn't do the art. Dominic Ratcliffe did the art. The Imperium. A love letter to telefantasy of the 1960s, defending the 60s from threats beyond reality. James Bond, Emma Pill, Doctor Who, a monkey in a spacesuit, and a black slab from 2001. All in one group together. What more could anybody ask for? But wait, there is more. If you buy both books, you get a bunch of extras. You can get the extras on their own. The extras, of course, include this wonderful pin-up, which I think will be a poster. Noble Savages. We have Leela. We have... I've looked up this character's name 4 times, and 2 people have told me in the comments, and I still forget the bloody name. Raquel Welch. Raquel Welch from 1 Million BSBC, The Time Machine, and K9. What more could anybody want in one poster? A bunch of postcards for the male gaze. We got Keeping the British End Up. We have Party Like It's 1999. We have Don't Even Think It's Citizen. We have No Hanky Panky. By the way, I do want to point out, oh, that's a little bit, hang on, let me just pull that down a tiny bit. There you go. That's better. I do want to point out, this is pure fantasy. Look, I was going to say this, everything everything on this channel is pure vanity, okay? But this particularly pure vanity. I love how I got the typefaces for all the titles of the cars just right. You know, that's the typeface they used in the titles of Doctor Who at the time. No Hanky Panky and TARDIS, and of course the Star Trek one. I use the Star Trekky typeface. I'm sensing strong emotions, Captain. I'm sensing strong emotions, Captain. And the final one, Forces Female, again went for that Star Warsy type. We have this poster. We hit $8,000. Everyone's gonna get it. It's A2. Bohemian Time and Space. Dominic Ratchet did the art on this one. Also did this one. The Eyes Have It. The Eyes Have It. Great balls of fire. And finally, I think this one is done. I think this one is ready to go. It's as good as it's gonna get. Forever Young. I just imagine Tom Baker's Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith going on forever in the TARDIS, going on forever. Now I'm looking at it, actually, I think I see something else I want to just a little one more tweak to it, if I can just get that hair. I ain't got the hair the right size. Here, this is the hair beforehand, before I did any more work on it. It looked kind of like a crash helmet a little bit. Is it going to switch over? I got the little spinny wheel. There you go. See, it looks a bit like a crash helmet there. A bit too big, so we pulled it back a tiny bit, and it really makes a big difference. It now that looks like, a lot more like Tom. I think the line around the top of the hair is a little bit stronger. Maybe I'll pull that down. But this is basically ready to go. All the artwork's there. This is the campaign. I'm going to continue everything in my next campaign, which I really want to start, which is why I want to wrap up this campaign. So there you go. Go check it out. Thank you very much. So yeah, look, Chris Chibnall is hiring a bunch of people who have absolutely no aptitude whatsoever for Doctor Who. So what do I mean by that? Generally speaking, well, the first problem they have is they want to say men and women are completely interchangeable, but we can't use men. Men are bad and women are good, but men and women are completely interchangeable. I don't believe they are. I fundamentally don't believe they are. I was open to the idea a few years ago, like a female-led, traditionally masculine drama. I was open the idea. I very much like female-led sci-fi drama, Bernie Summerfeld range from Big Finish. I think it has a very different feeling to male-led sci-fi drama or genre or genre drama. That's because men and women are different. Men and women are fundamentally different. So a massive difference between men and women you can see in the way they play. And this is official billion-dollar toy industry research that they adhere to very strongly. Men and women play very, very differently. Boys and girls, actually, play very differently. When a girl is playing a character, playing Princess Buttercup, whatever, Barbie, they like to imagine themselves. They are the Barbie. They are the princess. They put themselves in a situation. That's why female characters, generally speaking, have few distinctive characteristics, because they want to make it as easy as possible for the young girl to imprint themselves upon that character. While boys do it in the opposite way. They take the character and they print it on themselves. They want to be Han Solo, right? They want to be Indiana Jones. Well, listen, it's all Harrison Ford. Everybody wants to be, that's why male characters have very, very distinctive characteristics. So why? So the little boys can map them onto themselves. So that's a fundamental difference. That is a fundamental difference in approaching drama. And I think that explains why there is this insane need right now for the BBC and every entertainment company, like literally every entertainment company, to make sure the characters in their entertainment reflect and look like the people, some people, watching it, that they haven't necessarily looked like so much before. But as long as they're fashionable minorities, unfashionable minorities like Jews, no, we don't get a look at. Okay, we don't get a look at. Fashionable minorities, black people and women, somehow they're on the top of the progressive stack. Go figure. Everything revolves around them. So But you see, the thing with Doctor Who, again, I'm like, I'm a fat Jewish guy, right? I'm an old fat Jewish guy. I've never needed to see Doctor Who being an old fat Jewish guy. Why? Because I'm a boy, right? Boy. So if I would to play Doctor Who, like get one of my action figures, right? And play Doctor Who. I imagine myself. I imagine Doctor Who's character, right? I imprint Doctor Who's character upon myself rather than vice versa, right? That's that. So I don't need the Doctor to look like me. I don't need the captain of Star Trek to look like me, right? That's why I was quite open with the female Doctor. I was open with female-led sci-fi genre entertainment. Why? Because I don't need it to look like me, but I do need it to retain its basic sensibilities, its basic core identity, which they're not. Why? Because they become feminine-led drama. When you feminize, that becomes feminine, and that's very different. It's really weird. The Twitterati, the crazes in the Twitterverse, they will say, black people and white people. A black person can play any role, regardless. Like Anne Boleyn is a big one, right? Black people can play any role, regardless of what that role is. Because they're completely interchangeable. However, black people have a very, very different experience. That's it. And white people should feel very guilty about that black people's experience, right? Well, you can't have it both ways, right? They're two fundamentally contradictory things. So. Essentially, it's like this. There are people who are on, as I said, on the progressive track. Women, black people, trans people. That's a huge one, right? That's a huge one. And it's someone's identity now is more often than not how they're being hired in Doctor Who, and they just don't have the aptitude to make good Doctor Who. Really, that's what we're going to go through the IMDb. There's it basically works out about 20% 20 to 25% of the creators or the writers and directors working on Doctor Who right now are white men, and 75 to 80% are anything but white men, which is an inversion of what was normally done, right? Now, I'm not saying that white men are the only way to move forward. I'm sure there are many people of many skin colors who can write many very, very, very good stories, but just having that skin color that isn't white doesn't necessarily do the trick, as I think we've seen. So let's go through the IMDb. Where is it? Is it this one? It's over here. Doink. Let's go through the IMDb of what I think are diversity hires, and then we're going to end up on the article that made me make this video, which is one of the directors saying, I was very nervous about this because I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. So firstly, let's start with Joy Wilkerson. Joy Wilkerson, I had a little bit more, I think that he was closer to the mark than not. She was certainly hired because she was a woman, right? Certainly hired by a woman. I don't think she was really ready for it yet, and I think we really saw it. Now, don't get me wrong, I am all up for bringing in new talent. I think bringing in new talent is a fantastic idea, but that new talent has to be looked after and grow. Like my son is in the army. One of the jobs he had was managing the training facility. About a year ago. So what they call that job, the nickname for the job is a gardener, because you're growing new people. You're growing, and that's basically Chris Chibnall's job. However, I think he sees himself as a white man, because he is, and so it's not his place to be able to correct or guide his talent if they're on the progressive stack. So, which is why I think we're getting really quite bad Doctor Who. So Joy's episode, I feel bad for because it was nearly good. I think if she wrote it under Moffat or Mark Gatiss or Russell T Davis, or basically anybody who could write Doctor Who, they could have guided her to make it a good episode. She did the episode Witchfinders, which wasn't a good episode. It was, again, the Alan Cumming cameo in that appearance that was just weird. Didn't really work at all. I mean, it just didn't work at all. So next writer I'm going to look at is Vinnie Patel. Vinnie Patel, I think he quite likes Doctor Who, but again, has shown no aptitude for it in his career. Let's go look through his career as a writer. So before 2008, he said he's done a couple of shorts. Is this thing on? Then he said Murdered by My Father. Doesn't sound very genre related. The Good Karma Hospital, and then boom, straight into writing Doctor Who. How? Like how? I mean, it's not like he was around. In fact, it was like he was built up a resume of writing Doctor Who, for example. Like Big Finish has a whole stable of writers who know how to write Doctor Who, and Doctor Who's not an easy thing to write. I mean, quite clearly, Nick Briggs should really have been writing Doctor Who. Why? Because he knows how to do it, right? John Dorney. There's a lot of people out there who they could have got, but again, they're hiring on identity rather than on aptitude. And I think we really see that. So he's got these two stories here, both of which, people say Fugitive of the Jadoon was a great episode. It really wasn't. I mean, it had Joe Martin's Doctor in it, who was way better, right? Way better than Jodie Whittaker. Yeah, in my opinion. By the way, if you're a fan of the current era, God bless you. I'm happy for you to enjoy it. This is all my opinion. But like, the writing was garbage, right? That whole scene where the Doctor's digging up the TARDIS, and they realized they couldn't dig up the whole time. They just wanted that big, cliffhanger, that mic drop moment. It's like, it's the TARDIS. But then they couldn't get into the TARDIS because it was still buried and she couldn't dig the hole, so they had to teleport. It was just dumb writing. It's dumb, bad writing. Speaking of dumb, bad writing, Demons of the Punjab. A boring story with no real villain. Again, if he had any aptitude for doing work like this, I'd be like, great, that's great, bring new people in. But he doesn't. He was hired because he's a brown-skinned Muslim man. That's why, in my opinion. Sally Affman, she's a director. Let's look at her resume, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll try and work out what on earth. But Christian was said, yep, she's the right person for Doctor Who. El Dorado, never heard of it. This Life, City Central, The Lakes, Extremely Dangerous, The Sins. Okay, none of this sounds like it's got a big, strong sci-fi background. And look, Doctor Who is a hard thing to direct. Sci-fi is a hard thing to direct. Green screen, it's all a lot of work, and you need, it being your first time out probably isn't your best bet. The bill, you see, and it basically soap operas. Soap operas is the soap operas are the best way to describe this era of Doctor Who, because that's really the level of writing and acting and direction in the beginning. Soap opera. Now there is great stuff in it. I have to tell you, I think the production design has been really good. I think the Cybermen were excellent. The Dalek ship was excellent. I even quite like the fake Daleks they made in the New Year's special. I think that generally speaking, the production design has been really, really good. So I thought, oh look, Wolfblood, that sounds like something genre. And yes and no. Let's go click on it because we'll see what it is. And it's a very, female-led, Muslim-oriented sci-fi drama. I'm like, okay, or like magical drama. And again, it's not Doctor Who. It's not Doctor Who works best when it's made for 8-year-old boys, right? Because again, boys and girls are different. So she did Arachnids in UK, perhaps the worst. Well, I'll say at that point was the worst episode I've ever seen. Right? That was it was awful. Witchfinders, again, it was nearly a good episode if it had somebody who could share with them. But look, we see known for. Was a Hetty Feather. This looks like something she would like to do. This kind of like very feminine female-led drama. Okay, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong in that. But to pretend that is completely the same as writing Doctor Who, it's not. Again, Doctor Who is a tricky animal to write. Jennifer Parrott, another director. Let's look at her resume. Hollyoaks, The Chase, Doctors, Echo, but it's like Soap, Home and Away, like it's soap opera. And then she did Kablam and the Sagundra Conundrum. So Sagundra Conundrum, that was a very effects-heavy episode, and the effects were awful. I mean, not the effect. Again, the design of the space bunny who was the non-threat bad guy. And again, it's not that these people are incompetent. It's just they have no aptitude for this type of work. It looks like they'll be much happier doing, like, period dramas, right? Brideshead Revisit. That's something they look like they'll be much happier doing. They're doing rather things that are, generally speaking, more female-led or female-driven. Mallory Blackman, so she did Rosa, so they hired her because she was a black woman, right? Again, that's entirely the reason, and she only co-wrote it, right? They hired her because she's a black woman. Did Noughts and Crosses, never saw it, not really that interested, quite frankly. Apparently she wrote the book. Listen, I understand. Look, I'm not going to pretend that black people don't face a particular prejudice in the UK. Of course they do. Everybody does. Yeah, I would say that's true. But the truth is, everybody has crap in their lives, right? I was watching this 60-minute documentary about somebody who transitioned back to being a woman. She was a woman, transitioned to be a man, then transitioned back again about 10 years later. And they say, well, one of the big reasons that they transitioned was they thought life was better for men. Life was just because this is the nonsense they've been fed, that like men have all the no everybody, basically speaking, everybody's like kind of sucks equally, I would say. Give and take. Lee Haven Jones, so he did this. Okay, this is actually a white guy. Fine, very good. What did he do in Doctor Who? I did 3 awful stories. Oh, the Revolution of the Daleks. That actually wasn't bad, apart from the bits with Jodie Whittaker. But again, let's look at his resume. Oh, he did Wizards versus Aliens. So fine. I think he probably has the idea of the technical requirements, right? But mainly Indian Doctor, something Welsh stuff, Waterloo Road. None of this stuff strikes. Oh, we got to get in for Doctor Who, and the connection with Wizards versus Aliens. That's probably his best in, right? And I think, and you see, by the time he got to his 3rd story, he kind of worked out what he was doing. Like Spyfall Part 2 really wasn't good. None of these are very good. Orphan 55 was the episode that broke me. That was the episode where I'm like, I'm not watching this anymore. Right? Let's go. Okay. Nida Manzel. We're going to read an article from her in a minute, so we're going to come back to me. One over here. Let me move this tab over. And then let's have a look, see who's there. Emma Sullivan. Let's see what Emma Sullivan's done. A few shorts, then Doctors, Holby City, Find Your 4 O'Clock Club, the whole Call the Midwife, Gone Silent Witness, and then 2 awful episodes of Doctor Who. Can You Hear Me? That's the one with what was it? Wet Willie, the guy with the fingers. Came up. God, that's such a bad idea. Maybe if somebody who had any connection or love for science fiction whatsoever would have said, "Oh, that sounds awful. We shouldn't do that." That would be a good idea. And can you and the Villa, Haunting of Villa Didiati, so boring. And had the good idea of that lone Cyberman. I think that, again, great production design. Good, it was a good idea. Just boring. And this is what happens. Again, we saw exactly the same thing in the comic book industry, where they, a few years ago, they had this very famous photo, the milkshake photo, where you had all these entirely incompetent people who have no aptitude to making comics, who had taken over comics, and they went out for a milkshake together to basically show their complete dominance of the industry. Now, 3 or 4 years later, we see the results of their dominance of the industry. The industry's over. It's destroyed. They have literally destroyed their industry. Nothing to do with the pandemic. It was to do with them putting out crap. The reason they put out crap is because they didn't have any aptitude to do it. Now, actually, in the comic book case, they also didn't have any talent. They didn't have any aptitude to put anything out. Vita Ayala is one of the worst writers I've ever read in any medium ever. It's just technically useless in every way. These people, I mean, I think TV is big enough that there's at least a bunch of safeguards to stop it completely embarrassingly failing. So there's always, we have Nina Metivia, and again, look, we'll see all the pictures like this, like female drama, a Doctor Who and kiddie thing, like we see it with all of them. Again, so she's a writer, I believe. She'll say, is she the writer or the she was the writer? God, on the so she did Dixie. Look, that's Dixie, a female-led web series. Okay, Dino Paws, the Alien. I mean, like, what? Yeah, what was it? What was it that made Christian go, oh, we need Nina Metivia. Yes, we need her so badly for Doctor. Why do we need her so badly? Because she has a vagina. Not that defines being a woman or not in this day and age. Charlene James. So Charlene James had a bit of genre history in that she did the Discovery of Witches, but again, feminine genre. It doesn't matter that it's genre; it's still feminine genre, which is why it was it didn't do that. And what did she do? She wrote "Can You Hear Me?" A shockingly awful episode. Then Maxine Adderton. Maxine Adderton is tipped to take over or at least was tipped to take over from Chibnall. We see again soap opera. Doctor Who, Haunting of Villa Dodati. So let's go back to Nida Manzoor and see her, and she's done this thing Dixie. I think that other it kind of again a female-led drama, lady parts about a Muslim punk band. She's a director, right? So. But she wrote those. So Hounslow Diaries, Enterprise, that's a sitcom, lady parts about a Muslim punk band, and 2 episodes of Doctor Who, Future of the Dune, and Nikolai Tesla's Night of Terror. Again, the thing that got the job was that she was an Indian woman, right? That's why she got a job, which led her to being a little bit nervous when she went to direct it. Why Doctor Who director Nida Manzoor was nervous about the iconic Joe Martin episode? It was a pinch me moment. Yeah, I understand, because you shouldn't have been there. Because you weren't qualified to be there. Because you have no love or understanding or aptitude for Doctor Who. This was a job you were given. Doctor Who Series 12 rewrote the rule book with the episode Future of the Dune, revealing Joe Martin's character as Ruth as an incarnation of the Doctor, setting the redefinition of the character origin as the timeless child into motion. And it's gonna go. It's not. If anybody thinks this is gonna survive, we're all talking about the Paul McGann movie right now. I'm half human on my mother's side, but actually I'm going to do a video about that next. Talking about the series Bible, about what the show was going to be, but why that line came into being, right? Why that line really should have been cut out by the time, but that was like the last vestige of something left over for a long time. But the point is, it doesn't exist. Timeless children, like half of your mother's side, we've forgotten it. Timeless children, we've forgotten it. It's going to go. The Holby City actress who again Holby City. How about Shakespeare, Royal Shakespeare Company actress? How about that for a change? No, Holby City actress. The Holby City actress who debuted with was a big deal, especially as she was the first person of colour to play the titular title, which is why she was hired. They had her gender and skin colour picked out before the actress. That is why she was hired. So it's highly understandable that the director Nina Manzoor had a lot of nerves when it came to filming it. I don't see why. I mean, she knows she's a diversity hire, so she's like, I know what I'm doing. They gave me this job for no reason. Speaking exclusively to digital by Manzoor, although for these weirdos, these psychopaths, these purple head psychopaths that have taken over the world. For them it's completely legitimate to be hired on skin color, right? It's like, well, of course, it says white men have been patriarchy, bad, hire me. Manzoor explained, it was so exciting to be a part of that piece of casting, and to have the honor to direct an actor with the kind of caliber and breadth and ability as Joe and Joe did together. Again, I think Jodie Whittaker was okay, was competent in things like Broadchurch, which is essentially playing. It's a soap opera, right? She's playing a mother. She's playing something that she can imagine, which is why she could do it, right? And I don't think she can imagine Doctor Who as being something real. I don't think, and I think that's good. The truth with a lot of these creators, they don't imagine Doctor Who as being something real. Whereas somebody who it was aimed at, say a boy, often can imagine. Again, I want to be clear. I want to be really clear. I'm not saying we should never allow women to write Doctor Who. Gender is no barrier whatsoever to pretty much anything, especially in writing. Aptitude is, and you're more likely to have aptitude writing Doctor Who if you're a boy. That's just the reality of it. Just in the same way, Russell T Davies, he got into trouble about 2-3 months ago because he said, I normally cast gay people to play gay actors because they have a sort of shorthand already built in that they don't have to be taught, and it just makes it easier, right? Because why? Because they have an aptitude for it, because it's something they understand. It's a world that they've lived in, right? It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. I am sure Russell T Davies was saying, no straight person can play a gay person. No. He was just saying it's a question of aptitude. I always felt it was like it was in some kind of dream. Yeah, it was Pitch Me Among Constant. Yes, because you weren't qualified to be there. And quite frankly, I don't think it was fair to put you there. I think you were there to make Chris Chibnall feel good about himself, which is kind of gross, right? Bottom line, it's just kind of gross. Chris Chibnall's a very generous showrunner. To you, I was able to discuss with him the costume. What do we want her to wear? The aesthetic, yeah, because she had no idea, because she doesn't... Because she's never seen Doctor Who, probably. Oh, shall we have her in a burqa? Oh, I don't know. What does her TARDIS look like? Well, it probably looks like the Hartnell console room, because we still got that in storage. So it probably looks like that. It could look like the David Tennant console, because we still got that in storage. Or it could look like a Matt Smith one, because we still got the first one, because we still got that in storage. Anything else, it probably doesn't look like that, right? We're probably not building a new set. We're probably not building a new console for you, okay? So that's your choices. We had slight, and also that they wanted to make, I think the original plan with the Doctor Who Doctor is that she was an alternate second Doctor. I don't know if they're sticking to that right now. I don't know if that's going to be something they're going to continue with. We have to wait and see. Okay, bottom line, we have to wait and see. I don't really care, because again, for me, this whole era has been. I'm just erasing it from my canon, right? And any reference anybody makes to it in anything else just devalues that thing, right? Just makes it like, and I'm not that interested in. What about her skin tones? Probably black, right? I think her skin tones, let's have a look. Yeah, I think she's black. Let's go with that. Her costume, we already said that. We're really trying to think carefully about how we can really make her look so badass. Well, maybe don't hire again, she was fine compared to Whittaker, but she was still a woman in her late 40s, early 50s. That's not normally somebody you consider badass. Like I watched Army of the Dead recently, which a lot of people hated. I really enjoyed it. Listen, you give me a zombie Elvis in a post-apocalyptic Vegas, I'm in, baby. I'm in. But the bottom line is the people that cast on that, they look badass. Like David Bautista, he looked badass. Joe Martin, not so much. And again, that's not a diss on Joe Martin. It's just who she is. What do I want to tell you? Is she badass? No. Does she look cool? Not really. That again, the costume. I see where they wanted to go for something very traditional Doctor Who-y, but it was too constraining for her. It made her perform. It made her movements not right. She needed something that she could move more fluidly in and felt comfortable. She didn't feel comfortable in that costume to me. Right. All these pictures I see, I did like the colourful African print colours juxtaposed to the Edwardian steampunk look. I thought, that was a clever idea. But again, the costume, it was all a question of theory rather than practicality. And why? Because they don't have any bloody experience. They don't know they don't have any practical experience in making this. Why? Because they're hired not on their experience, not on their aptitude, but on their identity. What did she wear as you last? These things were just so important. I felt, but you screwed it up. It wasn't that. It didn't work out well. I just felt really lucky with that. You're insanely lucky. You happen to be born at the right time, the right place, that being a brown-skinned woman actually worked out in your favor. Now, honestly, I just think judging people by their external, immutable characteristics, probably a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea if you don't like somebody because they have a skin color or a gender or a ethnicity that you don't like. I think it's a bad idea if you super like somebody because they have a gender or skin color that you like, right? I just think judging people on their external immutable characteristics normally considered a bit of a bad thing. One of my favorite things as a director is performance. Working with actors and finding the truth. Yeah, exactly. Finding vulnerability and all the shades. They're both so generous to work with. There is no vulnerability in shades in Jodie Whittaker's portrayal of Doctor Who. I'm sorry. Again, if you like it, I'm glad you like it. I find no subtlety. I find no layers in that performance whatsoever. I don't know what to tell you. Again, if you like it, you like it. This is all just taste and opinion. I just don't see any. To me, she's playing it like a something she doesn't believe in. Right. It was honestly such a great experience for me. Well, good. It sucked for me. It was one of the biggest things I've done so far. Yes, because you weren't qualified to have the damn job. We know that. So coming into it, I felt nerves like, I'm really stepping into the big leagues. Well, let's have a look, see how your career went since then. How's the big leagues going? We are lady parts. That's what you've done so far. No, you weren't really stepping in the big leagues. You were being given a job that you are unqualified for. Unfairly, and again, deeply unfairly, I think. This is a machine. I think they need a machine because they have people, again, unqualified, untested, so they don't really know how to deal with the technical requirements of doing a very technically challenging show like Doctor Who. They have their ongoing crew, but the crew are so awesome. They really make you feel welcome. Now she's working on We Are Lady Parts, about a Muslim punk rock band. Again, listen, that sounds to me, when I look at you, I go, oh, look, you're doing something about Muslim punk rock band, or a female Muslim punk rock band. That looks like something you might have, and you probably have aptitude to do. Being, a Muslim woman, probably quite like punk rock, probably has a good sense of humor, probably quite talented, probably the talent completely misdirected and wasted on Doctor Who. Why? So Chris Chibnall can feel like he's a good guy. And that's basically it. So Chris Chibnall can feel virtuous. And that's why Doctor Who sucks, right? That's the entirety of why Doctor Who sucks. So Chris Chibnall can feel like he's a good person and get a round of applause from all his disgusting Twitterati companions. They go, oh, very good. You hired somebody based on identity. That's what you do. Yeah. Absolute disgusting. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.